Before we get to my week 7 expectation, let's look back at my expectations from week 6, which I gotta say, we're pretty much right on the money. So this is what I had for last week's video. I said that Miami would win easily or they would lose a close game. And this was, I mean, I know the score at the end was pretty close, but Miami won this game pretty easily. They were in control almost from start to finish. So I would say that expectation came true. Then we go to number 2. Alabama will win big. They did, I mean, they didn't win huge. The game was close at halftime, but they did pull away in the score at the end of the day. I mean, they covered the spread. So I'd say they won pretty big. I thought the second half is kind of how the whole game would go. I will give Vanderbilt credit early on playing Alabama tough in this game. But yeah, Bama really stepped it up in the second half and pulled away. Then we had Arch Manning or DJ Lagway will break out and their team will win. I think we saw that with DJ Lagway. This was by far his best game. Really accurate with the football, making big plays, helping his team win. Arch Manning did not break out. He still struggled. I wouldn't say, he wasn't as bad as Ohio State, but still missed a lot of, inaccurate passes. And it's crazy because you saw him at times look, I mean, some amazing throws, but it's just the inconsistency. I still think he has a lot of potential, but he's just not there yet. But yeah, Florida won the game because DJ Lagway, by far, in my opinion, outplayed Arch Manning in that game. Every Big 12 team, every Big 12 home favorite will win. That was the expectation. That did happen. A lot of people did not think Cincinnati would be able to beat Iowa State at home. They did, and the other favorites won as well. And then finally, I said there would be a random upset that nobody sees coming, and boy, was that ever true. Penn State being upset by UCLA. I don't think many people even had that on the radar. I talked about the possibilities of some of these big upsets last week, and looking back now, you have to say, yeah, Penn State was coming off of an emotional loss in a huge game. Then they have to travel all the way to the West Coast. You're playing a team with an interim head coach and new coordinators. Don't really know what to expect. They've got a former 5-star quarterback who still has a ton of talent. Looking back, you could say, yeah, I could, it does kind of make sense, but still, Penn State had no business losing this game. Their season's basically over now. So that was, again, huge upset that I think, I wouldn't say nobody, but I would say very few people saw this one coming. So let's get to my expectations now for week 7. We're going to start with Ohio State and Oregon. I think both of these teams will win big this week. And by big, I mean, double digits. Doesn't necessarily mean they won by 30. But I think Ohio State on the road at Illinois, I think they're going to take care of business. I think just in the trenches, Ohio State has a big advantage here. And I think you will see that. Their defense is really good. I think Illinois struggles to score in this game. I could see Ohio State maybe starting a little bit slow because it's an early kick. It's on the road. Maybe this game's close in the second quarter. I think they'll pull away and win it by double digits. And then Oregon, I think they will Indiana's got to travel out west. The crowd's going to be loud. It's game day is going to be there. They'll be fired up. I think Oregon, they just have a talent advantage over Indiana. We saw Indiana against the really talented teams, the teams with the 5 stars last year. They struggled, and I think we might see that again. Now, this is no knock on Indiana. I've been really high on Indiana. I've had them in my video a couple times. I said they would make a statement against Illinois. They did. I said they would take care of business against Iowa. They did. So I'm high on Indiana, but I think in this particular matchup, it's just a tough one for them, and I think Oregon will win it by at least 10 points. Next, we're going to go Alabama and or Georgia will lose. I think you'll see one, if not both of these teams get upset on Saturday. Alabama is this is like a perfect spot for an upset. You're coming off of an emotional win over Georgia, huge game, and then the game, you had game day there for Vanderbilt, a revenge game. They were fired up for that game. Then you got to go the next week for a noon kick at Missouri, which is actually a pretty tough place to play. It's not the loudest crowd, but it's tough to win football games there. They get pretty rowdy. So I think all of that combined, I think this one's going to be tough for Alabama. Regardless, I think it will be a close game, and I think that's why the spread's only like 3.5 points in this one. And then you've got Georgia going on the road at night at Jordan-Hare. We know how tough it is to win there. It's a hungry Auburn team with a couple of close losses recently, their last 2 games. if Georgia was undefeated, I would say Auburn's winning this game. But with Georgia having that loss to Alabama, I think that it makes me a little hesitant to pick the upset here. But I think it could happen. I still do think it could happen. And both of these upsets are actually preseason picks. I picked Missouri to beat Alabama, and I picked Auburn to beat Georgia in the preseason. And I think it could happen still. It would not surprise me. Auburn's had a bye week. They've had extra time to prepare and get things figured out with Jackson Arnold. They're also retiring Cam Newton's number that night. So it's going to be a special night there at Auburn, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw an upset in that one. And maybe both of them. We'll see. All right, number 3. I think these teams will all take care of business at home. Tennessee against Arkansas, they should roll. LSU, South Carolina could be interesting. Lenore Sellers, we know he can take a game over, but I think LSU's defense will not allow them to lose this game. I think they will take care of business there. And then Texas A&M against Florida. Florida coming off of a big win. They'll have some confidence, but A&M just too good. So, again, home field advantages. And you're talking about 3 of the best home field advantages, not only in the SEC, but in the country. How about these? These are 3 really tough places to play. All of them are going to be favored. I think they all take care of business. So, those are some expectations there in the SEC. Now, how about these? Texas, Oklahoma, USC, Michigan. I think both of these will be defensive battles, especially Texas, Oklahoma. John Mateer, I don't think is going to be playing in this game. I think Oklahoma's offense it's going to be tough for them. I think Arch Manning, we've seen them struggle with the Texas offense, and you got 2 really good defenses. So I think you're going to see a very low-scoring game here, maybe a 20-17 type game. I have no idea who's going to win. Like I was thinking about who would I pick in this game. I don't know. I really just. It's flip a coin for me. I could see it going either way. Now, if Mateer was playing, I think Oklahoma rolls in this game. The way they were playing with him. But without him, I think it's going to be tough, and I think it's one that could go either way. But regardless, I think it'll be low scoring. And I think Michigan and USC will also be a low scoring game. Both of these, Michigan's defense played great all year. USC's kind of been up and down on defense, but I think against this type of team, like against a Michigan offense, it's a little bit one-dimensional. Although Bryce Underwood, like when you look at his stat, like you watch Michigan and you think, man, they struggle to throw the football. Then you look at the stats and it's better than you think. The receivers drop a lot of passes. Like they've had some issues there, but it's Michigan's interesting. Michigan's an interesting team at this point. Anyways, back to this game. I think these defenses will step up. I think it'll be that type of game. It will be, Michigan's having to travel out west, and so I think, this is just one of those where the offenses are a little bit behind the defenses in this matchup, and I think it'll be a low-score game. Maybe not like as low-scoring, but more like a 24-20 type game, maybe somewhere in that range. And this is another one that's hard to predict. I could really see this game going either way also. All right, and finally, we're going to talk about the Group of 5 real quick. I think one of the remaining Group of 5 teams will suffer their first defeat this week. Navy goes on the road to play Temple. UNLV has Air Force. You got to deal with the triple option, but the game I'm really looking at, it's North Texas versus South Florida. I really think South Florida might get them there. I was actually surprised North Texas is favored in that game, at least as of this recording. That surprises me. I'm surprised South Florida is not favored. So that's interesting there. I think that'll be a great game, a huge game in the American Conference and playoff implications actually in that matchup. But I think one of these teams will go down. Memphis does not play, so we'll see how long they can stay undefeated. But it's an interesting race there to see who makes it into the college football playoff from the Group of 5. So those are my 5 expectations for Week 7. Give me your expectations down in the comments below.